Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a story that sits right at the intersection of several things that have been happening in the Korean music world simultaneously, and when you put all of those things together in the same frame, what you get is a moment that is genuinely worth taking the time to understand fully. Because on the surface, this looks like a simple story. A famous idol dances to a popular song. The group who made the song reacts with excitement. The internet notices and talks about it. Simple. Clean. Done. But if you know who the people involved are, if you understand the specific history and the specific dynamics at play, and if you appreciate what this moment represents in the context of where Korean music is in April 2026, you realize that this story is much more interesting and much more meaningful than the surface level allows. Let us start with CORTIS, because you need to understand who they are and what they have been doing before you can fully appreciate what it means that Jungkook showed up for them. CORTIS is a 5-member group: Martin, James, Joohoon, Seungyeon, and Keanu, who debuted under Big Hit Music, the HYB label's subsidiary managing BTS, last August with their debut EP Color Outside the Lines. They quickly gained traction for a hip-hop-driven sound that drew comparisons to artists like Travis Scott and Playboi Carti, with tracks like Fashion and Go, spreading across short-form media platforms. That context is important. CORTIS did not arrive quietly or tentatively. They arrived with a specific and deliberate sound identity that was immediately distinctive, something with edges, something that did not smooth itself out to be palatable, something that made a clear statement about what kind of group they intended to be. In an industry that can sometimes reward polish and predictability over genuine artistic risk, CORTIS chose the other path. And the audience responded. Their debut EP Color Outside the Lines recorded cumulative sales of 2,069,663 copies based on Circle chart data, setting a record for the highest sales figure of any K-pop debut album in history. The highest-selling debut album in the history of K-pop. Think about what that means for a group that has not even been active for a full year. Think about the other debut albums in K-pop history, the debuts from groups who went on to become institutions, groups who sold out stadiums, groups who changed what Korean music meant to the world. And CORTIS, in their first release, outsold all of them. That is not a minor achievement. That is a statement about the scale of what this group has already become and the scale of the expectations that surround everything they do next. Their new track Redread serves as the pre-release lead single for their upcoming mini-album GREN, due May 4th. The song, which was developed with all 5 members involved in songwriting and composition, uses the colors green and red to draw a line between what the group embraces and what it rejects. The fact that all 5 members were involved in the song's creation is something that CORTIS has been consistent about emphasizing, and for good reason. In an industry where the separation between the people who perform the music and the people who create it has historically been significant, CORTIS's insistence on creative ownership across every aspect of their work, music, visuals, choreography, even co-directing their own music videos, positions them in a specific and meaningful way. They are not just performers delivering someone else's vision. They are artists building their own. CORTIS once again received credit as co-directors for the Redread music video, with the structure and atmosphere of a self-produced music video shot by the members before the main filming serving as the foundation for the official version. The members actively exchanged opinions with the production team on set and incorporated their own ideas into the video. That level of creative involvement from a group that has been active for less than a year is genuinely remarkable. Most acts, even experienced ones, do not direct their own music videos. Most acts, even experienced ones, do not write and compose all of their own material. And most acts, even experienced ones, certainly do not do both while also managing the demands of rapid commercial success and the specific pressures that come with being the highest-selling debut act in K-pop history. CORTIS is doing all of it, and they are doing it with a confidence and a clarity of artistic vision that speaks to something genuine. The Redread music video surpassed 3.2 million views within just one day of release, appeared on YouTube's trending music charts in 24 countries and regions, and notably broke into the US YouTube trending music chart, securing the number 22 spot, with Canada ranking even higher at number 13. These are the numbers that CORTIS's Redread was generating in its first day of existence, before Jungkook entered the picture. Which is important context, because what Jungkook did for this song was not save it from obscurity. What he did was something else entirely, something that reflects a specific kind of relationship between an established artist and an emerging one, a senior and a junior, a member of the group that built the label and a new generation that is building on that foundation. Now let us talk about Jungkook's history with CORTIS, because this is not the first time these two worlds have collided, and understanding the precedent makes the current moment richer. When Jungkook made his return to TikTok after 2 years away, stepping back into the social media space he had vacated during his military service, one of the first things he did was dance to a CORTIS song. Specifically, he posted a dance video to CORTIS's track Fashion, and the result was extraordinary. The clip began trending across feeds within minutes of release, and within just 4 hours, Jungkook's TikTok brought in over 300,000 new followers, 10 million views, and 3 million likes. Within 24 hours, the video surpassed 30 million views and became the most viewed CORTIS challenge to date. Think about what those numbers mean for CORTIS specifically. Their song, which had already been performing well, was suddenly being seen by an audience that extended far beyond the fandom that had discovered it organically. Every person who watched Jungkook's fashion video and did not recognize the music went looking for it. Every person who shared the video brought the song to new ears. The amplification effect of Jungkook's participation in a challenge is not just about the views his own video generates, it is about the downstream effect on the original artist, the way his recognition of their work functionally serves as one of the most powerful endorsements available in contemporary music promotion. CORTIS reacted to Jungkook's fashion dance with visible disbelief, saying it felt like a dream to see the K-pop idol dance to their track. Additionally, Jungkook's 97-liner friend and Stray Kids leader Bangchan added to the fun, sharing on Bubble that the video made him laugh out loud and praising Jungkook's skill while calling him Sunbeam with affection. The CORTIS reaction is worth dwelling on for a moment, because it reveals something important about the dynamic at play here. CORTIS are not naive about who Jungkook is and what his attention means. They have spoken openly about BTS as their role models, about the specific members and the specific qualities they have learned from. For them, Jungkook choosing to dance to their song was not just a nice thing that happened. It was a moment that carried the full weight of everything he represents to them, the standard they are trying to reach, the path they are following, the proof that what they are building has been noticed by someone whose judgment means something. And now he has done it again. With Redred. With the song that CORTIS poured their newest and most evolved sense of artistic identity into. The song where all 5 members sat in a room together and wrote and composed and debated and stripped away everything that did not feel authentic until what remained was something they could stand behind completely. The song where they reflected on what they pursue and what they avoid, where they drew a clear line between who they are and who they refuse to be. Jungkook found that song and danced to it. Quietly, not on a stage and not in a studio but in what looks like an ordinary moment, moving to music that has caught him, music that he could not help responding to with his body because that is what music does to people who have a genuine relationship with it. And the reaction from CORTIS? Still the same thing. Still the disbelief and the gratitude and the sense that something remarkable is happening to them that they have not fully processed yet. Because that is what it feels like when you are a new artist and the person who represents everything you are working toward tells you, through the most direct possible action, that he sees you. That the music you made reached him. That it was good enough to make the Golden Magne, the live genius, the man with 9.4 billion solo streams and multiple Billboard Hot 100 #1s, good enough to make him move. The relationship between BTS and the younger generation of HYBE artists is something that deserves its own discussion, because it reflects a specific philosophy about what a label family should look like and what senior artists owe to the people coming up behind them. In Korean culture, the concept of sunbae and hobi, senior and junior, carries genuine weight and genuine responsibility. A sunbae is not just someone who has been around longer. A sunbae is someone who has a relationship of mentorship and care toward those who follow, someone who uses their position and their influence actively to create space and opportunity for the people coming after them. And what Jungkook has consistently demonstrated in his interactions with CORTIS is exactly that orientation, not condescension, not performative generosity, but genuine recognition and genuine support expressed in the most natural possible way. When asked if they had received any advice from senior groups under Big Hit Music, CORTIS member James said, "We filmed a challenge with the Tomorrow X Together seniors a few weeks ago, and they told us to stay healthy while being active, so we are working hard with renewed energy." The ecosystem of support that surrounds CORTIS at this moment in their career is remarkable. From TXT to Jungkook to the broader BTS universe, this group has been surrounded by people who have made the choice to show up for them, to offer their attention and their recognition and their platforms in ways that have materially contributed to CORTIS's extraordinary early success. But Jungkook's support is different from everyone else's, and not just because of the scale of his platform, though that is significant. It is different because of what it communicates about artistic quality. Jungkook is not someone who dances to songs because someone asked him to or because there is a promotional reason to do it. He dances to songs because the songs make him want to move. Because there is something in the music that reaches a part of him that cannot be reached any other way. And when he chooses Redred, a song with a trap rock sound and heavy electronic textures and deliberately raw energy, a song that sits deliberately in a gray area between hip-hop and brain rot music, as one description put it, as the thing that makes him want to dance, he is making a statement about the quality of what CORTIS has created. He is saying, this music works. This music is real. This music reached me. CORTIS member Joohoon described Redred as a song that came to life through the creative process, with the group feeling increasingly confident as they developed it that it had what it needed to be a lead single. Martin described the song as having a distinct heat, adding, "It feels like it is always building and boiling. I never get tired of it." That quality, the feeling of heat, of something building and boiling, of music that accumulates rather than disperses, is exactly the quality that tends to catch people like Jungkook. Music that has a physical dimension. Music that does not just exist in the ears but translates into the body, into the impulse to move, into the specific kind of response that only comes from something made with genuine conviction and genuine energy. For the ARMY members who have watched Jungkook navigate his return from military service and his reintegration into the active music world, his consistent support for CORTIS has been one of the more quietly moving threads of the post-comeback period. Because it reveals something about who he is when he is not performing, when he is just a person listening to music and responding to it. He is someone who shows up for the younger artists in his orbit. He is someone who uses his extraordinary influence not just to advance his own career but to create visibility and opportunity for people who are making music he genuinely believes in. He is, in the truest sense of the Korean word, a good sunbae. Within 24 hours of Redred being released, it appeared on YouTube's trending music charts in 24 countries and regions, hit number 1 on YouTube's trending worldwide chart, and entered the iTunes Top Songs chart in 14 countries. In Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, it held the number 1 position for 2 consecutive days. These are the numbers that Redred was generating on the strength of CORTIS's own work, their own promotion, their own genuine artistic quality. And then Jungkook added his voice to it, not through a formal collaboration or a planned promotional partnership but through the most spontaneous and most authentic form of endorsement available, which is simply dancing to the song because it made him want to dance. The internet noticed. The internet always notices when Jungkook dances. And the conversation that followed about the relationship between BTS and CORTIS, about what it means to be a good senior, about the specific quality that Redred possesses that made Jungkook respond to it, was exactly the kind of conversation that elevates everyone involved and creates something larger than any individual moment. It is a conversation about what the HYBE family looks like when it is working at its best. About what it looks like when established artists use their platforms generously and authentically. About what it means when a junior group makes music good enough to catch the attention of someone who has, quite literally, heard everything. The story of Jungkook dancing to Redred is, at its core, a story about music doing what music is supposed to do. It found someone. It moved him. He responded. And in responding, he told the world something true about the song and about the people who made it. CORTIS made something real. And the person who perhaps best embodies what genuine musical authenticity looks like in the contemporary K-pop landscape noticed it, responded to it, and in doing so gave it something that no amount of promotional budget can buy: the honest approval of someone who dances because the music is good and for no other reason. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment telling me what you think about CORTIS's Redred and whether you think the Jungkook moment will boost their numbers even further. Subscribe if you haven't already and we will see you in the next one.